Welcome to Fearsome Top 5. Today we're diving into 7 unexplainably scary ghost videos. Number 1. A man named Abel was on the job installing Wi-Fi in an older house built in 1954. He was completely alone, no homeowners, no coworkers, just him in the quiet stillness of the empty home. But as he worked in one of the rooms, a faint whisper broke the silence. A chill ran down his spine. Quickly, he reached for his phone to record. Later on, he showed the video to his wife Destiny, who posted it to TikTok looking for answers.
There's nobody in here.
As the video began, an eerie, disembodied moan echoed through the room. There was no one else inside, yet the sound seemed to come from right beside him. He turned his camera around to record his surroundings, and soon this voice can be heard again saying help. The look on his face says it all, as he was genuinely terrified. Yet somehow he managed to stick it out and finish the job before absolutely sprinting to his car. Number 2. A woman named Ali on TikTok is a new mom that often posts videos of her everyday life, most of them being of her adorable child. One day while she and her husband were playing with their son, she set up her phone to record what she thought would be a happy memory. But what happened next made her stomach drop.
You're dead!
Yeah.
Stop doing it.
As her son played on the slide, he suddenly froze, appearing to see something. His eyes were locked in place, almost as if someone else was in the room. His smile quickly faded as all of his attention was now on whatever was lurking near them. Ali told him to stop doing that, which sounds like he might often be seeing things. Whatever he's seeing, I wouldn't question it, and I would immediately get my ass out of there. Number 3. A woman named Rose received the devastating news that her uncle tragically took his own life. She couldn't help but break down in tears. Sometime later, after managing to catch her breath and calm herself down, she FaceTimed her husband to talk. While on the phone, he began to notice something bizarre happening behind her. He decided to start recording his screen, and what happened next is downright chilling. Behind Rose, a handful of her hair mysteriously lifted into the air, almost as if someone had picked it up. This terrifying moment immediately made her eyes widen as she could sense that someone or something was right behind her. She whipped her head around, fully expecting someone to be there, but the room was empty. Her husband couldn't believe his eyes, and his jaw hit the floor as he was shocked at what he was seeing. They continued their call when something once again started moving her hair. These terrifying moments left her uneasy and unsure what to think. Was this a ghost? Was it possibly her uncle? And could this have been his way of communicating? Number 4. Paranormal investigators Jeff and Mark often set out to explore supposedly haunted locations in search of proof of the paranormal. For one investigation, the guys had their sights set on exploring old World War II bunkers and tunnels. They arranged to stay nearby at a place known as the Smuggler's House for the 3 days it would take to film the episode. Their first night in the house was uneventful, but that very next morning, things took an eerie turn. The sound of doors closing filled the house, along with the unsettling sound of footsteps walking from room to room. Funny enough, the house they chose to stay at for another investigation now became an investigation of its own. Jeff set up his equipment in the living room, hoping to make contact with any nearby spirits. And soon enough, he got exactly what he was waiting for.
Can you move around? Make some... F***ing hell. Whoa. Okay, I'm just going to tell you what happened there. There was walking on the floor above, and then the tripwire activated. Thank you so much. Thank you. Walking comes from above me, and then the tripwire activates and I feel static go through my arms. Can you move around? Make some... F***ing hell. Whoa.
The sound of walking upstairs immediately caught his attention, and eerily enough, seemed to be a direct response to him asking, "Can you move around?" Jeff continued asking questions, and soon enough received another response.
Is it possible you can do one last thing for me? Maybe move something? Or just make a loud noise just so I know where you are? Jesus Christ. The handle moved on that door. Is it possible you can do one last thing for me? Maybe move something? Or just make a loud noise just so I know where you are? Or just make a loud noise just so I know where you are?
Immediately after asking if the spirit could make a loud noise, the handle on the door to his left eerily moved. Jeff ended his session in the living room and headed towards the dining room with Mark for their final session of the night. The guys sat around a table and took time to explain how each of their devices worked to the spirits. But as they then sat in silence, the sound of someone above them was caught.
Is it possible you can come into this room?
There's real loud banging coming from upstairs.
Is it possible you can come into this room?
There's real loud banging coming from upstairs.
The sound of banging or possibly someone walking can be heard directly above them. They went on asking questions before eventually stepping outside to take a break. The static cameras in the house continued rolling and managed to catch this. The sound of creaking floorboards filled the house, sounding as if someone was walking around. Shortly after this was caught, the guys made their way back inside to pick up where they left off, and it didn't take long for something to make its presence known.
The tripwire activates just outside the ground floor living room door, and at the same time I hear someone call my name, not once but twice, saying Jeff. Here is the enhanced audio.
What? The tripwire's just gone off in front of the living room door.
So I've got three things happening there. I heard a voice.
The tripwire went off.
I definitely heard someone saying my name, Jeff, with my own ears, and I'm just hoping it's been picked up on the digital audio, and then the GoPro turns itself off. And I did ask to do something before we finish.
And I heard somebody, it sounded like they were walking up the hallway, and then the light went off in front of the living room door.
The unsettling sound of a man's voice calling out Jeff directly was caught. Not once but twice, this chilling voice whispered his name loud enough for him to hear it with his own ears. This haunting voice was unmistakable and happened to be the last bit of activity that was caught for the night. What was only meant to be a place to sleep surprisingly turned into a brilliant investigation, proving that no matter where you are, paranormal forces could possibly be present. Number 5. Over on a TikTok account called JustinDowney0428, a video was uploaded that caught my attention. According to Justin, his grandmother who lives in Ohio was startled by something unusual captured on her Ring camera late one night. The night was calm when suddenly a pale figure emerged from the darkness. This eerie silhouette seemed to manifest out of nowhere, having somewhat of a glow. It quickly traveled to the right, disappearing just as fast as it came. Justin has no idea what this could be, but whatever it is, it's freaking me out. Number 6. In 2022, a woman named Tasha moved into an old farmhouse with her husband and kids. The family was ecstatic to have a new place to call their own, but shortly after settling in, things took a creepy turn. The eerie sound of movement filled the house late into the night, and members of the family would often catch a glimpse of objects getting moved by an unseen force. Tasha tried her best to catch these encounters on camera, and occasionally she succeeded.
See, and you think I'm crazy. The first time I'm here by myself, there's a picture on the floor, and it just...
Tasha started recording after a framed photo fell to the floor, but as she stepped closer, the door to the living room hauntingly opened on its own, then aggressively slammed shut. The way this door closed was very intentional, with a great deal of force behind it. But clearly with no one around besides Tasha, how was this possible? A week later, as Tasha laid in bed, a notification from her doorbell camera lit up her phone. The sound of footsteps making contact with the snow can be heard, followed by a ghostly voice which could possibly be saying, "Leave them alone." As time went on, the activity only seemed to grow stronger, and late into the night is often when Tasha would hear movement throughout the house. These chilling sounds kept Tasha awake, worried that someone or something was close by. When morning would roll around, Tasha would make her way to the kitchen, only to find this.
Okay, every single morning, these are on the floor. Every single morning. So I'm gonna hook up my computer and see if I catch anything tonight. Maybe it's just rodents, but we're gonna find out.
The cookbooks on the counter unnervingly fell, seemingly without a cause, only to later get pushed to the floor by an unseen force. These bone-chilling events became a common occurrence in their daily lives. Meanwhile, after one day of this crap, I would have shown up with a fire hose full of holy water. Number 7. Over on the Ghost Theory YouTube channel, paranormal investigators Elliot and Joe ventured out into the forest in search of an abandoned farmhouse. With a flashlight in hand, they scoured around the outside of the building until eventually finding a way inside. After finding a way in, they curiously explored from room to room. They eventually found themselves upstairs, where they set up a few of their devices, and not long after, an unsettling sound caught their attention.
Let's call out who we are first and all that.
Hello, my name is Elliot.
Mine isn't. That was a bang. Sorry, what? What was that? I thought maybe it was the door. It's not.
There's movement.
I thought it may be that squeak. You
are kidding me. Temperature change again.
Yeah.
Ooh, okay. Did you hear that then?
Like,
I heard, yeah, and then...
An incredibly strange ghostly moan came from somewhere in the house, sounding hauntingly close to Elliot and Joe. After spending a bit more time upstairs, the guys headed down to the first floor where this activity continued.
Can you copy this noise?
hello?
After Elliot asked, "Can you copy this noise?" he seemed to get a response as a sudden bang came from somewhere nearby. This sound was loud and clear and immediately caught them off guard. The two moved to a nearby room, somewhat expecting to find someone that caused this noise, but there was no one to be found. They eventually went back upstairs, where they noticed a bright light in the distance outside of the window. Extremely curious, they tried to get a better look, but what happened next is incredibly bizarre.
We're miles away from that road's up the top of the hill and the cars are going the opposite way.
Yeah.
That's no way.
Maybe that was like somebody had a really bright torch down there.
I saw it the second time.
Get me in. Hello? Hello? Did you shut the window? Downstairs, we came, yeah. What the What the What was that? There's a skinwalker sound.
What the There's no animals here.
What do you mean?
Like, there isn't any animals here, is there?
What do you mean there's no animals here?
As in, like, it's all derelict.
There's an owl.
Is there?
Owl, yeah.
It sounds like... something's here. Fucking something's here. Joe, I don't like this. What the f was that?
After peering out the window, a chilling animal-like screech came from the surrounding wilderness, and oddly enough, soon after, the REM pod downstairs began to go off. Elliot and Joe went back down to take a look, but there was no one around. As it got later, the guys eventually decided to call it a night, but the very next day, they couldn't resist coming back. Once again, they set up their equipment and eagerly waited for any spikes in activity.
If you can contact us, can you answer yes by making a noise with the REM pod or just a physical noise in the building? Are we welcome here?
Can you always touch the device to answer yes? Thank you. Both as well. That was good.
Oh, cool.
Did you die in this building? Can you tell us then which room you died in? Did you die in the room that we are currently stood in? So strange, it goes K2 REM pod, K2 REM pod, K2. Okay, I'm just going to ask another question just to try and rule out whether we're talking to you or not. Did you die downstairs? We'll take that as a no. So you died up here in this room?
Oh, yes.
Okay, that's. I'm sorry to hear about that.
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't mean to say yes as in you'll die. I meant yes as in we finally made contact with you. And that's good for us. Are you okay where you are? Is it nice where you are? That's good. That's different.
As they asked questions, they received consistent responses back from the REM pod. They eventually made their way upstairs, where they soon had one last jump scare before calling it a night.
We're listening to see if there's anything you can do to make a noise.
Hell, that made me jump. What was that?
I don't know.
That properly made me... I know I'm jumpy anyway.
With activity like this consistently happening 2 days in a row, it seems like a safe bet to say that this old abandoned farmhouse isn't as abandoned as they thought. Make sure to follow me on Instagram to hear more from your boy. As always, if you enjoy these creepy videos, then make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to see more videos like this.